Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? It looks like we are live. We are good to go. Welcome to Otaku Hell, episode 3. Where we're only talking about JoJo's today. I apologize for anyone here who does not like JoJo's. I know we are all gay, as one would say, but that is what it is. We're JoJo fans, but welcome. We're talking about parts 1 through 3 today. Nothing more, nothing less, because Zach is still in the process of reading, and yes, he has joined the cult of gay. He is now one of us. And we're looking forward to hearing what he has to say as a new reader. And today, I'm joined by a new face and then some familiar faces. Let me go ahead and switch the scene and let's get started. Wrong screen. Let's go. Guys, you all know me. I am Andy 2Play. I, do my streaming. I do other YouTubes now. And right now, I actually have an announcement. I caught up on One Piece. I caught up. I am at chapter 1000. I have not read 1011 today. I have not read the newest chapter, but for all intents and purposes, I am now caught up. I hate One Piece still, but I am caught up, and that's the important part. I held my end of the bargain. I've done it for the first time in... Zach, how long has One Piece been out?
Since 1997.
Since 1997, for the first time in my life, I am caught up with One Piece. And we have a new face today. Go ahead.
I am Dylan. I am currently reading Nagatoro, and I'm currently watching SSSS Dynazenon, which is amazing if you love mecha and kaiju. I'm just saying, Ultraman series is finally back in a big way.
Okay.
Yes, so I'm Alicia. Still reading through Vagabond, and I have started, but only got 20 minutes and still trying to go back to it to fix my mistakes from last week and actually watch some Studio Ghibli. But I just haven't had the time.
Okay,
so
understandable.
working on that.
And I'm still reading all my weeklies. And if I was a homosexual, I would be reading JoJo's right now. Theoretically. Theoretically, if I was reading JoJo's, I'd be on part 4 right now.
Cool. So theoretically, this entire podcast is theoretical since it's on the basis that you've read parts 1 through 3 theoretically.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this episode doesn't exist, just for all, again, intents purposes. This episode is not real. With that going forward, we can start with part 1 of JoJo's. I figured we could all go through and give it our own ratings. Let's actually hear from the people who have read it first. Let's go with Alicia, Dylan, myself, and then ending with Zach. What do you guys think about part 1 of JoJo's? And where you rate it, what you liked about it, characters, stuff like that. Dylan, go take it away. Or sorry, Alicia, take it away.
Okay, it took me a bit to get into part 1. I watched the first episode, and I haven't read parts 1 through 5. I've read 6.
Oh, you're anime only on that?
Anime only on that. No, just because I had started with the anime, and then I was going to go back and do a full reread, but then I knew that there was quite a bit, and I wanted to catch up to where
Gotcha.
all you guys were. I needed to be the gayest of the gays.
Gotcha. Understandable.
So I went and I started reading from part 6. I am going to go back and read parts 1 through 5. But season 1, episode 1 took me a bit to get into it, and I think it was the art style that...
Yeah, no, I agree.
It was the most that it was just very jarring to me. So then I started part 1 and I was hooked so quick. It's definitely not my favorite. It's quite far down on the list. It's good in its own rights, but when you compare it to all the other parts we have, it's just doesn't hold up really for me. But I'd say it's just it's a solid 6 or 7 out of 10. Because I did really enjoy it, and it got me hooked quite quick, and if it's able to do that, then it has to be somewhat good.
Yeah, I agree with that. Dylan, go ahead.
Same thing, honestly. I started I didn't really struggle. Most people struggle with part 1. They find it boring or tedious. I didn't really struggle. I started for the first episode, watched through the whole thing, went on to part two, watched through the whole thing, and just kind of like Alicia, I'm anime only for parts 1 through 5. When
Okay.
part 5 finished airing, because I had started JoJo's when part 5 was announced.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, maybe this is the perfect time to get caught up, and I caught up. Need to go back, reread now that I'm all caught up on the manga. So
Nice mug, Alicia.
that's something I need to do. But if I had to rate it, I would definitely give it a strong 6.5.
Yeah.
It's definitely not up there.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not the worst.
Okay.
Because I mean, part 6 exists.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, what's part 6? I don't know what that is. That doesn't exist to me. That's. You know what? I'm actually happy because Alicia also doesn't like it. I don't like it. Dylan doesn't like it. Zach, I can't. I hope.
Zach's not going to like it.
I hope Zach does. I hope Zach does like it for the sense of argument.
Like, I don't like it, but I'm excited for the anime just
True.
because of the sheer production value that goes into this.
That is fair. 100. I feel like I'll enjoy it more in the anime sense anyway. Anyway, we're not going to be talking about part 6 today. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
Part 1 for me, I'm definitely resonate with what you guys are saying. I unfortunately started with the manga, which, like you guys said, turned you guys off initially. The art style is definitely excuse me. Shit. Real quick, I need to do something. I need to do while I'm talking. The art style for me is definitely the biggest turnoff. It was like Attack on Titan for me. I didn't start reading Attack on Titan at first because the art style of the manga was really bad. It just was. So I didn't. I dropped it. I was saying, obviously this isn't for me. The art is very important to me. But when I did eventually give it a chance, I realized the brilliance of part 1, the story they set up, the character, and the Araki's strongest suit to me is his characters. The thought and love he puts into the character development and the building of the characters themselves is, I think, what carries JoJo in its entirety. Because he's not that good at writing a story. I'm sorry. Part 3 is a testament to he really doesn't know how to write a story. But if you have good enough characters, you can, carry it through. But part 1 to me is so much better in dub than sub. Not necessarily all the parts of JoJo, but hearing the English, I feel like localization, the locale of where they are is important. And in that they're set in England, I want to hear some fucking British accents. I want to hear the cheesy shit. And that's how Speedwagon became my favorite character. That's my favorite. Yeah. Speedwagon is best boy. But
I remember having a conversation with you about Patrick Sates. You didn't know who that was because you didn't really keep track of English voice actors.
Yeah.
That's the English voice of Dio.
Okay, yeah. That was honestly, I feel like, as far as the big scheme of things, part 1 is definitely the best. I am at the same place. I rate it a solid 6 to 7 out of 10. But it as itself, as a standalone, if you were to separate, if it were to just end on that, it was a cohesive story, besides Dio serving at the end, kind of a cliffhanger or whatever. That was a cohesive story. It told a story of a man and his brother having a feud, and his brother became a vampire and shit. But I thought it was good. I liked the part 1 story, and the characters that carried it. But part 1 to me was definitely. I think Alicia, your and I tastes are pretty similar in parts, right?
Yeah,
I think so. The only difference,
when we did our ranking, it was literally
parts 1 and 3 were yeah.
They're pretty much
yeah.
Maybe a teeny bit. They're basically on the same level, so I could swap them around. Apart from that, we were literally the same.
Yeah, I forgot to post that we were live in several channels. I'm an idiot. So, Zach, as a new reader of the gay, how did you? Yeah, new reader of the gay. Theoretically, of course. Part 1, going into JoJo's as a known Zach Hoy, known JoJo hater. What was it like starting the adventure of JoJo's?
So I know you guys have complained about the art and the manga, but I looked at the art in part 1 of the anime, and it is so much worse than anything the manga could have produced. Like, it's atrocious to look at.
Yeah.
That being said, I enjoyed part. It's probably my favorite part out of the 3 that I've read so far. I think that part 2 is better than part 1, but I would rate part 1 a 7 out of 10, and I enjoyed it better because I liked Dio a lot more. I like
Dio was a really good villain.
I rate it a 7 because I think that it's a good story with good characters that is brought down by some of the artwork and then some of the goofy ass dialogue.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Going back, speaking on the goofy ass dialogue and the art style of the part 1 anime, even though those two things, if we look back on them now, we're kind of jarred. Those things established JoJo as what it is today.
Definitely.
That over-the-top art style that just throws everyone off, and then that campy ass dialogue.
Yeah.
But some of the art in part 1, it's like your body doesn't actually move that way. You fix it in the following part.
I can lift this rock.
Exactly.
Sorry, that just got
That being said, like I really liked every single character in part 1. I liked all the Joestars. I liked Dio. I liked the 2 knights a lot.
Yes, Buford, and I forgot that.
It's amazing.
Yeah, honestly, one of my favorite parts in part 1 is the whole Buford thing. As soon as you catch up with JoJo's, I need to show you a video of the localized names that were changed from the names that were changed from the manga to the anime. A lot of them were changed due to copyright reasons, and sometimes they were just changed for just fucking shitty reasons. But
blasted pancake.
Oh my god. Like I'm gonna give you an example. There's a stand in part 7 called Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. And the localized version of the name is Filthy Acts Done at an Affordable Price or a reasonable price. Something like it's reasonable price. Filthy Acts done at a reasonable price.
Like it's just some of
you
it's
don't
just
get
so
to say
fucking
D4C
goofy.
and being able to like say D4C.
Yeah, D4C, bro. Anyway, sorry, Zach. Continue.
Some of it's just so fucking stupid. I know it's not part 1, but in part 2, when Straits turns into a vampire and he's like, super stingy eyes.
Yeah! Well, because I think part 1 and 2 were definitely, like, they were telling a vampire story, okay? That was the whole thing. They were telling the story of these immortal beings that have supernatural powers, and I guess Araki just thought, vampires have laser eyes, okay? Again, not the best writer in the world, not the best writer.
Yeah, so like I enjoyed part 1 a lot. Like I said, 7 out of 10 for me. It would have been higher, but some of the art has been holding back, and then some of the dialogue is just like, what the hell?
But one of the biggest issues of dialogue in my thing is like when he met Speedwagon. Like I like the interaction of like, oh, you went and you didn't kill any of these people and shit, and you seem like a cool dude. You guys,
Speedwagon will allow none to harm this gentleman.
Exactly. And that to me was like, that's the beginning of the Joe Bros. Because every part has a Joe Bro. You got part 1, you got Speedwagon. Part 2, Caesar. Part 3, you have Kakuin is the Joe Bro. Every part will have a Joe Bro, and Speedwagon's introduction of the Joe Bro, especially the not really villain, but bad guy, but now I'm your friend trope, does it so well. Speedwagon is just beloved in my heart, so I'm gonna...
Well, and then part 1 also has Zappelli.
Zappelli, yes!
Yeah.
The Jojo! No, that's part 2. That's the take the... I guess part 1 also has the take the last of my Hammond type deal. With Zeppeli when he's killed or whatever by I can't think of it. Yeah.
I think every part has a scene like that. Like,
true.
like big spoilers here. I
Yeah.
know Zach's caught up on part 3, but if you're not, big spoilers. We've got part 1 with Zeppeli, and we got part 2 with Caesar, and then part 3 with Kakyoin with the information of Dio Stand.
True. That is
opposed to
true.
Hamon.
That basically, yeah.
I
Which
think every part has something like that.
That surprised me when that happened. I was very surprised, but just
I
with
definitely.
part 1, it just suddenly came.
I
back
love
to me
how,
there.
as every part goes on, you see Araki get less and less like skittish about killing off his characters.
Yeah.
Like to where you're up to part 7 and 8, and he's just murdering people. Left
Yeah,
and
we
right.
can, let's not talk about that, bro. That's
Yeah.
I'm still a
Last-
PTSD.
Or like in part 6, but he killed everybody.
Yeah, let's just
Last and George R. R. Martin.
yeah. Okay, part 2, same order. Alicia, Dylan, Zach. Part 2.
Well, what can I say about part 2? I can't say enough about part 2. Joseph best Jojo, and I will like literally fly anywhere and punch anybody in the face if they try to say otherwise.
You're not wrong.
Joseph just has such a special place in my heart. Like even from like the very start when he's there, I can't remember the name of the lad he was fighting, and they're in the shop, and it's kind of when he realized, oh shit, like this lad a vampire too. And he's there with
Right, so-
Smokey, and he's saying to
Yeah.
Smokey, oh yeah. And he's saying to Smokey, like, oh, you know, like I've got like one more ace up my sleeve. And he's like, really? It's like, and so he just turns around and just like legs it down.
That's
and,
literally
just
my
romantic kind of-
literally my
Joe Star family secret technique.
when I have my when I put my phone into low power mode. It's literally him saying "run away." I fucking love that scene so much.
I love that. That was like the second I saw that, I was like, yeah, no, that's it. And even little thing like just the whole thing I loved, and I think it was because I'd say like literally like part 1 walked so that part 2 could run, and my god did he
So
fucking
true.
run.
So fucking true.
Just like, oh no, like the whole thing
So we're like,
between like
well, go ahead.
I don't know, I was about to say just between like how charismatic Joseph was, his relationship with Caesar, especially how he didn't like him at the start, you know, and then like, you know, they became, you know, like best buddies, and like as we were saying, like with Ramu, and like ours, I can give or take. It's just like, you know, like him playing like guitar on Lisa's legs is just, you know, like the funniest thing ever. But no, part 2 is by far
And what
my
you're
favorite part in JoJo, and nothing can change.
what you're bringing up with the relationship with the villains as well is Joseph had a sense of honor to his character, kind of like Jonathan. Jonathan had a lot of honor with his character, you know, protecting the damsels and all that shit. Joseph had a lot of honor where like he would fight someone and there would be like a mutual understanding that even though like we're on opposite sides, that we probably would have been friends if we weren't. Like he has that like that good relationship with the villains, I feel, in part 2 that I enjoyed a lot. I enjoy that of the when a main character and a villain kind of vibe together. But
Yeah.
Joseph is such a good guy. He got along with a Nazi of all people.
exactly, like that
That's
was
actually when that came in. It was kind of like we've got vampires, we've got, you know, the common breathing,
cyborg Nazis.
Now they're bringing in Nazis.
Like, are we allowed to say that? Are we allowed to say Nazis on stream? Is that a word? I know the other word, the word that we were saying instead of sexual assault, wasn't we allowed? Is German soldiers from 1942? Is that an allowed thing I can say, or should I refer to as German soldiers from 1942?
We should just refer to him as the pinnacle of German engineering.
True. German science is the world's strongest.
In the world.
Best in the world.
Oh my god, that
Not
fucking.
Volkswagen.
Okay, listen. I'm gonna say it. Fucking von Stronheim is easily one of my favorite characters in part 2. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
German soldier from 1942 or not. I fucking love von Stronheim so much.
That's
That's just more
character.
proof to what you were saying. Araki can do characters.
Yeah.
I will
He
not
can
be
do
saying that,
characters.
Ons. He can take a German soldier from 1942 and make him likable. God, I fucking love von Stronheim. Anyway,
He was
Alicia.
likable because he didn't do any of the things that German soldiers from 1942 did.
Exactly.
That's the thing. Yeah.
He was such
I
a good
think he
character.
just mentioned all that at one point and stuff as well.
Like, do you remember when Mark died? the kid that was driving them around, the German soldier from 1942 that was driving them around. When Mark fucking died, I was sad. I was like, no, Mark, he was gonna go home and see his girlfriend and marry her. But he was also a German soldier from 1942, so I felt very conflicted after that. So I don't really know how to feel about that situation. But Alicia, besides Joseph, any other favorite like moments of part 2 or characters that stand out, attest to other parts?
Pretty much, yeah. Same thing with von Stroheim. Like, it's just. But I need to go back and rewatch it because it's been nearly a year since I watched it, and I've watched and read so much.
You
that my brain is just
you really have.
I have the smooth brain right now. I have the smoothest of brains, and it does not want to do anything else. I need
simply
to.
roll on.
Yeah.
Your insults can't hurt me. They simply slide off my smooth brain.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay.
But no, the two of them, like. But yeah, the two of them, and just Joseph's relationship with, particularly again, Wamu. So with him being a villain, but similar to Joseph, he just had this sort of sense of honor. You know, he was like even say was it killed Caesar?
It was Wamu, right?
Yeah.
It was Wamu.
You know, and even then he wanted to do it quick so that he wouldn't suffer.
Yeah. Yeah, and that exactly. He's like, hey, you pushed me this far. I'm going to, even though I have to kill you, I'm not going to make you suffer. I loved Wamu's character. And even with Wamu killing Caesar, Joseph still had this sense of respect for him as an enemy and his skill that he had, even though he, killed his best friend. Okay. Dylan, part 2.
All right, part 2.
Oh wait, Alicia, what did you say you rated it? Sorry. Part 2 rating.
Oh, sorry.
But compared, not even like on a scale of like all anime, but just in the JoJo. Out of all the JoJo parts, where would you rate it out of 1 to 10?
Oh, out of just the JoJo's 1 to 10, definitely it'd be a 10. Or at least if I have to be like, you
cut out.
Be a 9 or a 9.5.
But I got you. 9.5.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Being trash.
And then Dylan.
All right. If I had to sit here and put a number to part 2, there's only one other part, and I'm sure everyone knows what part that is, that I would put above part 2. And if I had to rate part 2, that one would be probably a 9.
Okay.
And the only reason I wouldn't give it a 10 is probably what you mentioned earlier, the chariot battle at the end.
Yeah.
That part was just so...
It was underwhelming.
Ugh.
Yeah, we didn't need that.
I love... My favorite part about part 2 is the interactions between Joseph and the Pillarmen. Like that...
Yeah.
Every interaction they had made the entire part for me. Whenever I would see a Pillarman on screen and then Joseph was there, I would get giddy like a schoolgirl because I knew something hilarious was going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, come on. Like, when he was against AC/DC, you may have outsmarted me, but I outsmarted your outsmarting.
And we know when no one brought it up yet, but his fucking gag, the fucking
Your next line
is that is the best gag in any anime. I don't give a shit about any other gag. That is literally
Nani?
the top tierest. Like, it gets Susanna. Like, Susanna, who also like didn't really like the idea of JoJo's. She wanted to start watching it because of memes she saw. And anytime and anything, like just the Nani? Like, she would just fucking lose it because of like, it was just the gag. It is just so fucking perfect. No one brought it up yet, so I wanted to say it's the best gag of all time. Nothing can beat it. Continue, Dylan.
Oh, yeah. Especially the Japanese version is stuck in my head. Sugini omae wa nani toryu.
Exactly. It is just...
It sticks with you.
It is beautiful. Continue.
What hooked me on part 2 though was straight from the beginning, where you have Straight So come in, and then you have Joseph with Smokey, and then this man just pulls out a fucking Tommy gun.
Tommy gun. Yes.
Like he's doing nothing. Joseph's sitting there, he's enjoying a nice meal with Granny Arena, having a wonderful day out. And here comes Straight So, and then little did you know, Straight So, fucking Joseph's packing heat.
Exactly. Where the fuck?
Like I found that hilarious. We went from like he still has honor, but in this first episode we go from Joseph, who's all I will defeat you honorably with my fists, to or Jonathan, and to fucking Joseph, who's just like fucking Tommy gun.
It's blurring it. Yeah, no, the Tommy gun was just like, and then he fucking whacks him with the Tommy gun after he fucking shoots. He just fucking whacks him with it. It's fucking ridiculous.
that is what hooked me onto part 2 and JoJo's as a whole. Like I had watched part 1 and I was like, okay, I'm entertained. You know, I won't say I'd sit here and watch all of this, but you know, everyone's talking about part 2, so I'll give part 2 a shot. And then immediately after this first episode, it's like, well, fuck.
Yeah, no, it's great. Anything else? What about favorite characters or favorite scenes or notable?
My favorite character would if I had to think about it, probably would be Caesar. Like that's generic as fuck, but I really do. I love that little blonde bastard.
Yeah.
And my favorite scene. It's been memed to death, but it's still to this day. Shiza.
Nah, that honestly
is so emotional.
Even though I was late to the JoJo train, I don't know about Zach. We'll hear about Zach's experience in a sec. Even though I was late to the JoJo train, I didn't have anything spoiled for me. Everything I read from JoJo's was completely fresh, no spoilers whatsoever. That scene broke me. I was like, how could they just fucking kill him off? I was not ready for that emotionally going through this story. So I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So for me, part 2 is my favorite. And when it comes down to it, my rating for my top 3 is part 2, part 8, part 4. That's my official rating for my top 3 JoJo parts. But part 2, it just stands above the rest of me. It's the humor though. That's why I like it so much. I don't really give a shit about Fight of the Week stands in part 3. I don't really give a shit about I don't even know what part 5 to me is like. It's good, but it's not like nothing stands out about it. But the humor and almost like the wholesomeness of part 2, it's gaggy, it's comedy, and it's action all in one. I feel like it just stands above the rest. That's why I give it probably a 9 out of 10 as well for JoJo parts. I just Joseph is best boy. I'm on Alicia's boat. I will fight anyone. I don't give a shit how tall you are, Zach. I will fight you. I may be 5'9", 5'10".
5'5"? Oh, we get small Taylor.
Huh?
5'5".
You're 5'5"?
No, it's whatever way you went to go say it sound like.
No, I'm not 5'5". It's not canon. I am 5. It says 5'9" on my license, but I've grown since then. Okay, I'm 5'10". Okay.
Don't tell her it's like 5'7". That's what he's told me before.
What? Okay, give me a sec. Where's my license? I don't have my license on me. It's in the room. We'll see at the wedding. We'll see at the wedding. I'll see you guys at the wedding. Not Alicia. F in the chat for Alicia. Don't say small Taylor confirmed. Anyway, part 2 just it spoke to me. It's like I feel like that's where I became really hooked on JoJo's. It took me a little bit to read through part 1, but part 2 made me realize how good Araki was at writing characters and writing, and even I would say probably part 2 has for the most part cohesive stories. There's some issues I feel like with like the chariot scene. We really didn't need that, especially animated. I went back and watched that animated. That was not really fun to watch animated. I was like, okay, cool, chariots. It was just as boring as it was in the fucking because the whole, I threw the thing and missed so it would circle around the arena and come back. I like the gag. I like the step ahead, but I think that was the dumbest use of it in the anime manga. Also, coming out of the horse. That was the whole just out of the horse. I wasn't ready for that at all. That was unprecedented. That was I was not needed. But at the end of the day, part 2, it's so good. Also, Tequila Joseph is better than normal Joseph. You cannot change my mind.
Confirmed.
Tequila Joseph trying to sneak past the German soldiers of 1942. and thinking it was a good enough disguise, and the German soldiers being like, "Yo, bro, we know you're a dude." It was just such a good gag.
When Jimmy was
Normal
packing up.
animes would let that happen.
What'd you say?
Normal anime would like be like,
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, totally with it.
Exactly. Also, what is he in the is in the manga? It's Santiago or Santana in the
Santana.
in the manga. They changed the name of that. They changed the name of like all the villains because obviously they couldn't have ACDC as the name of a character that there's not licensed.
They also couldn't have Wham.
Wow, yeah.
I like
Wamu.
the way they changed ACDC's name. They
To
just changed the
AC/DC.
spelling of it.
Yeah,
So
AC/DC.
you can still call them ACDC.
Yeah. And Wamu. And Cars. And then there was just Cars.
If I had to say that there was one localization approval I approve of, it has to be Wamu. Because
Wamu was
you
good.
just imagine that scene where it's just like, Wham!
Yeah, no.
No.
Wamu! Yes!
It's better.
Also, part 2 was the real introduction of JoJo poses, and that is like the core of JoJo's going forward. There are always the JoJo poses. And that's like where it started. That's the father, the grandfather of JoJo poses was part 2. And we have to appreciate for that. But with that, go
We
ahead.
could also go back a little bit further to the very first JoJo pose when Dio jumps out of the fucking vehicle and he just fucking dabs on the ground.
Yeah, no, yeah. Dio is the curator of JoJo. Dio walked with JoJo poses, so part 2 could run and start a movement.
God,
But with
Dio's a flamer.
yeah, God, Zach now, part 2. Now, after reading part 1, going into part 2, what were you expecting? What were like? Give us your thought process going into part 2.
So, because I'm in the same boat as you, not having anything spoiled about JoJo's.
Yeah.
Because, like, I haven't. Whenever anybody started talking about JoJo's, I just zoned out. I was like, no, don't care.
Yeah.
Don't need it. Which actually probably was good for me. But, so, part 2, I think, was better than part 1, but I like part 1 more.
Okay, I mean, I understand that. I completely especially knowing your tastes in manga, I definitely see why you're saying that.
I can understand where you're coming from 100% because I would rank. Oh, you can go ahead. You can finish.
I cannot bring myself to care about Cars, Wham, or ACDC one bit, whereas I liked Dia.
Yeah.
I cannot, like, I know Taylor was mad at me when I said that, but, like, I do not get
I understand.
shit about the villains in part 2.
I definitely liked them, but I can see why you wouldn't like them, and I excuse that.
But I like the main characters in part 2 more than part 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the artwork got significantly better, and the dialogue got a lot, like, insanely. I could even see going up to. So I told you an 8 on part 2, but I could see myself going up to a 9 because like the dialogue is so much better. Joseph's gag is fucking hilarious, and like it's just. But yeah, like I literally cannot. I didn't care about Stroheim either. Like I was just like, eh.
I like von Stroheim. I feel like he's much. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. I got a German.
I have been reading it all colored too, though.
You have been reading color, which is beautiful because I didn't start reading color till part 4 or 5, I think. And I don't like as an avid manga reader, I do not like manga being colored. JoJo's, I think, is the exception to that rule because of how well and the love they put into it. Give me a sec. I have the dubbed version of German Science is the best in the world. I need you to hear that. I need you to understand why the anime for JoJo's is such a meme. I'm gonna play it for the stream, but I'm also gonna send it to general, or if you have up your computer in general. I sent the thing in Otaku Hell. Want to listen to that real quick?
Fool! You utter fool! German science is the finest in the world!
And I feel like in the anime that I would say the dub is just so much better in some aspects. It just is. It creates the memes. I'm waiting for Zach to. See, there you go. It's different. There's a different tone. There's a different tone than reading it to watching it. It's that or listening to it. It's so different. In that aspect. And that aspect is the silliness of part 2 as exemplified by the voice actors, in my opinion. And I will say, the voice actors for the dub, like, I get it. People fucking hate dubs. I get it. But the dub for JoJo's is very well done. You even got fucking Matthew Mercer in part 3, dubbing Jotaro. Matthew fucking Mercer.
Matt Mercer, like, I went back and watched part 3 in like the Dio Jotaro fight in dub.
Yeah.
And Matt Mercer versus Patrick Saints
it's intense.
Symphony.
It's a fucking intense. Continue what you're saying, Zach.
Yeah.
People that hate dub are just weeps. Literally, there's no reason to hate dubs. Some dubs are significantly better than any of the subs.
Yeah.
Ghost Stories exist.
Full Metal Alchemist Ghost Stories. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is like peak dub. Like it's just peak dub.
And if anybody says they'd rather listen to Granny Goku, they're lying.
Exactly.
And they deserve to be in prison.
Okay, and I will say, on the opposite side of that, I understand some subs are better. One Punch Man being a prime example. One Punch Man dub is one of the shittiest dubs I've ever heard in my entire life, where the sub is better. And I understand the mindset of, you want to hear it in, the traditional tongue. But that doesn't mean that the dub is bad. Yes, bad dubs exist, but just because it's in English does not automatically mean it's bad. Ooh, Cowboy Bebop. Mwah. Fucking, what's his name? Oh, what's his fucking name? Steve Blum. Steve Blum. Fucking Spike. God tier voice actor. Continue, Dylan.
I'm going back to an old one here. Ghost in the Shell standalone.
Ghost in the Shell. That is an OG. I need to go rewatch that shit.
That is a fantastic dub.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is a lot of people, like, I get it. You shit on dub, you think you're cool, but it's not that bad. And JoJo's is definitely one of the better... I mean, Alicia, what about you? You've watched some animes. What is your take on dubs versus subs and shit like that?
I'll try the dub, but it depends on it. Cause I tend to go like most of the stuff I've watched, other people have watched. So I go by what they've said. Because when I first started Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and I started it with the dub, and I hated the voices at the start. Yeah, no.
Look at Zach's face.
No, I found Ed's voice to be so
Thick Mignata, yeah.
But then, I was like, okay. Jimmy was like, no, look, it's really good. And I think it's just whatever way the pitch and everything of it was, I didn't like it. But I stuck with it, and then, after a couple of episodes, I was like, oh yeah, it's grand. If there's a dub available, I tend to go with that because, I can be listening to it and... not having to focus all my concentration into reading it and then trying to keep up with what's happening. So at least if I'm able to listen to it and watch it rather than reading and then watching, I
vibe with that because the reason I don't typically watch anime to sit down and watch anime, I usually have it up as a side thing. And while I am learning Japanese, I don't speak it yet. I don't understand everything. So until then, I will have it on dub up on the side. One day I hope to get to the point where I can just have the dub for Japanese up on the side and I can listen to it in Japanese. Maybe one day. But right now, I can't do that. You can't fault me, for not knowing Japanese. But yeah, no, weebs are trash. Weebs have bad opinions. Okay, parts of, now that we went on I want to show you that the dub, though, it definitely helps. Part 2, what were the parts that, shocked you? What were the things that you weren't expecting to happen?
So, I guess the... first thing was how racist it was in the beginning.
Yeah.
I was like,
woo! Iraqi!
this ain't the 1990s anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah, 'cause
definitely.
it was written then, but
Yeah.
reading it now is like,
Yeah.
And then Straits. I didn't expect Straits to lose it.
Yeah, it felt out of place to me, but they kind of explained it, but it still felt out of place to me, in my opinion.
And then I did not like Caesar at first, but then I grew to like him.
That's how it works.
My favorite scene might have been Joseph trying to spy on Lisa before he knew that it was his goddamn mom.
I liked how you sent me later, because like, oh, Lisa's mom, and then you went, ew. What was exactly what you said? You're like, ew.
Like,
he looks.
trying to peep on her.
Yeah, it was like took you a little. It was exactly what you find out what you sent me. God, I just. Oh yeah, and also, go ahead.
But I really liked that. Again, I couldn't care about any of the pillar men. Like I was like, this part's villains. Yep.
Yeah.
As long as you like the Aztec dubstep, we're cool.
Oh, he hasn't. No.
Wow.
The what?
Go ahead, explain, Dylan.
The Aztec dubstep.
Yeah. We'll get to that later. What about fuck? We got the Caesar. So you got the Caesar. We got Caesar's death. How did I coming up to that? Did you see it coming at all with that battle?
Not necessarily, but like, I mean, I kind of did actually, because knowing he was the Pelly and him like just getting into his backstory about his dad and his grandpa, I was like, oh, it's not looking good for him. I was like, he's gonna follow the family footsteps.
Yeah, it was definitely, and like looking back on it, you actually bring a good point. The fact that he was a Zeppeli, I guess that's like I didn't think of it like that. That's actually an interesting way to think about it. Like, oh, he's a Zeppeli, kind of like almost like fate. It was meant to happen.
Also, I said, ew, he tried to see her naked.
He said, ew, he tried to see her naked. I'm going to send you, the people on stream, you heard that for a second. When you have a chance, listen to the theme. Like I said, one of the best parts of the anime is the music. Listen to the Pillar Men theme when you have a sec.
David production, that's one thing they can really do well is music. And you can especially see that whenever they go off JoJo's and make Fire Force. Even the music in Fire Force is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's really, really well done music. Whenever a chance, later. But Pillar Men theme is definitely one of the best themes in JoJo's. But yeah, so and then it ended with the in part 2. Does it end with the cliffhanger for Dio or no? I think it does. They show the chest, right? At the end of part 2?
That's beginning of part 3.
Is it? Okay, I read them back to back, so I wasn't sure. But how did you feel about the ending of part 2?
I mean, I liked it. I kind of thought they were going to stick with killing off the Joestars, like, at the end of each part. I'm glad they didn't, though.
Yeah, get ready for that. You started reading part 4, right?
Yeah.
So
I really like Jotaro, so I'm happy that he's...
Yeah. You like Jotaro?
Yeah.
That's fair. He's a dick, but that's fair.
Look at Chad. Give a fuck.
I just think they did him really dirty. You know, just... That was one of my biggest gripes. Like,
I feel like they did Joseph. Okay.
Jotaro by himself.
I know we're not supposed to talk about part 4 that much, but you know what happened already, Zach. Why'd they do Joseph dirty? Why'd they make him cheat? They made him cheat on fucking Lisa for story purposes.
No, Think again, Taylor.
Suzy Q.
Or Whoopsie! I meant Suzy Q. I was reading chat and I was reading Rod say, "I'm glad Lisa isn't my mom." That's right.
Yeah, I guess I'd be glad too.
So they made him cheat on the Suzy Q for story. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I know we're not going to part 4, but I was very mad. But anyway, we're going to lead into part...
How did her accent just, completely disappear?
I will
That
say
really bothered me.
that bothered Susanna. She brings that up a lot in part 3, where she's like, wasn't he British? Because
No, Susie Q's accent.
oh, but also
Her accent just disappeared completely.
true. But Joseph's also
And
disappears
she
in
did a
part
really
3.
thick accent.
She does.
But
She
she
did a
does
talking
more
like
English
she
speaking
did a
accent than
talking like a
English speaking
this.
accent.
She talking like a Italian. She talked really like with
And then
that.
she just,
Yeah, but
and especially in the anime, then in later seasons, it's like, oh yeah, she has no remnants.
I guess that's a dub versus sub thing, because if it was subbed, you wouldn't have noticed because they're speaking Japanese. There would have been no accent.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
And reading, you don't get accents at all. So, I guess I did. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Other than Joseph trying to keep on his mom, I really enjoyed the scene about that's another reason I thought he had died. I really enjoyed the whole part where he crashed the plane.
Yeah.
To finally kill Carr. He knew oh, it's the only way.
And you were prepared for him to be dead, right?
Yeah.
Following the Joestar trend so far.
Yeah, I was in pain, but
but yeah, no, that's right. So
yeah, so I enjoyed part 2 a lot. I really liked it. I think it was better than part 1, but I enjoyed part 1 more because of Dio.
Yeah.
Dio was way better than the film.
So now I'm really curious. You haven't talked about we messaged a little bit back and forth while you're reading part 3. I'm genuinely curious about part 3 with Dio and everything. That's why. So let's go ahead and get into part 3. We all pretty much rated part 2 like a 9 out of 10 for the most part. So we're based. We get it. We have good taste. I'm really happy, and I'm gonna say as a little break point, I do actually before we start part 3, I wanna say I'm very happy that Zach has given it a chance. I told him I would one day, and theoretically, of course, he has given JoJo's a chance, and I'm very happy for that. Cause I did the thing for One Piece though, God, I fucking hate
Sorry,
One
my
Piece.
mouth is eating things.
No, you're fine. I fucking hate One Piece, but I made it through, and there are some good parts of One Piece. But I'm glad you gave it the chance. I really am.
Real quick before
Yep.
we start part 3,
Mhm.
we had talked about dubs earlier, and Vic Mignogna was brought up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share a clip from the Broly movie in general. I think if you haven't heard Vic outside of Full Metal Alchemist, you should watch that.
Okay.
That really shows off his phenomenal skill as a voice actor.
He plays Broly
Yeah, he
and
played.
played.
Broly, yeah.
Played. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He played Broly.
I will have to go check that out after stream. That sounds good.
The dub of the new Dragon Ball movie was phenomenal.
I don't think I so I watched the Broly movie in sub and on Pornhub back when it first came out, back when movie leaks used to go to Pornhub. Anyway, come on, okay, I gotta find my movie leak somehow. Where do you guys think My Hero?
Fair.
I downloaded the My Hero one from, guys. Come on.
Fair.
Anyway, part 3. Now, part 3 was the introduction of Stans and the loss of Hamon, which I liked Hamon. I'm gonna say it. I liked Hamon. Wasn't it called something in the manga? What was it called in the manga? Was it called Hamon?
No, it was the Ripple.
Ripple.
call
That's
it
right.
Ripple.
When I moved on to the anime, I noticed it was called something different, and I just never really thought about it.
It's referenced in part 3. Joseph uses it with his stand a little bit, but for the most part, it is just basically brushed aside.
Yeah. So you're basically throws aside. I think Araki definitely figured okay, I need to step it up a bit. We got 2 parts. We're getting kind of popular. And I feel like he really took from Dragon Ball Z in a sense, where we need a lot of action, nonstop action. That's pretty much what part 3 is, and that's just nonstop, one long journey of just action with the villain of the week formula, which, like Dylan brought up, back when it was releasing on a chapter to chapter basis or an episode to episode basis was probably much more enjoyable. But trying to digest it in a single read through is definitely annoying and exhausting. Yeah. So with that, part 3, Alicia, your thoughts on part
I hated
3?
it at the beginning.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely hated it at the beginning. And it's the one thing, so say, like, between whilst I was watching it, I was, like, pretty much on the phone constantly to Jimmy, so he had to listen to me give out about pretty much the start of every season, or whenever they changed something.
Yeah.
When they changed from Hammond to Sans, when they changed the art style from part 3 to part 4, every change, it was like, no, don't like this, don't like this. And so then, like, I gave it a chance. And I think it was just because, say, like, since I got so invested in part 2, and when they just kind of like, you know what, fuck this, here's this new format, and it's kind of like, no, it's different, I don't like it.
Yeah.
And I found the whole tarot card thing to be a little bit just gimmicky and cheesy, and just, it's like, if they gave their stands a name and a power and just had that as itself, grand, but the fact it was based on a tarot card is like, okay, like, you know, whatever.
Yeah. I feel like, and adding on to that real quick, I feel like it was dumb that they're like, okay, tarot cards. Okay, we're out of tarot cards. What do we do now? That was annoying to me.
Name.
That was gods, I guess.
What was it, John?
Fuck.
Even though, and there goes Zach, because
We're an hour.
Yeah, we're like
1 hour in.
We're not even. Oh yeah, we're just about an hour in.
Yeah.
1 sec, bring
It's
him
an
back
hour.
in. Oh, it's an hour in, Zach. Oh, we're an hour in, Zach. Guess you had to disconnect. Oh, we're trying. Zach.
Oh, no.
Zach. Look, we're an hour in. Welcome back, Zach.
All right, every time.
At least it's a good timekeeper.
Yeah, we have a timekeeper. Even though I don't know if you noticed, I want to point something out, and this is one of the Iraqi forgot moments. Remember when the Speedwagon Foundation, Zach, was spying on, after the tarot cards were done, and they were spying on Dio's minion, and they have all the hooded figures leave, and then that messenger dies or whatever as he sends the message out or whatever? I can't remember that well.
Yeah.
When you think about it, now those people there was exactly, I forget how many people, the remaining stands that were left. One of those was a bird and one of those was a sword. One of the stands at the time was the bird in a hood.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of the Iraqi forgot moments. That's one of the most, you're going to see it a lot of Iraqi forgot. That was one of the times where it was like, well, I guess the bird was in a hood and looked like a human. It was passable. But there are a lot of issues with part 3. Alicia, continue. I'm not gonna take up your time.
No. So it took me a little bit to get into it, but I got into it. All that aside, I got really invested. The whole like Avdol dying and then he's actually dead, and the guy that they pretended to be his dad is actually Avdol, and then he's kind of dead again, and then he's not. Like that kind of like threw me for a loop for a bit. Can I just say Polnareff is just one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
Don't know what it is about him. Just absolutely love Polnareff. Didn't like him at the start. Thought he was very kind of like at the start, and then he really grew on me. But yeah, kind of like I understood after a bit that like, look, changing the format so severely is obviously going to be very jarring at the start. But then looking back on it, having watched or read the other parts, is like, okay, they needed to lay that groundwork somehow. And like I liked it overall. It was very drawn out. Or like villain, like every single episode or second episode, it's, you know, like Dio sent this other person to kill somebody, you know, like. But can I say, like, what probably one of my favorite parts of that is the Dio versus Polnareff scene with the stairs.
Yeah, that was good.
Best thing ever. That and Joseph in his typical Joseph way, pretending to be Dio after getting the blood transfusion. Those two things. stood out. But yeah, the length, it was very drawn out because I was watching it through. So, you know, watching all of like arc 1 and then the Egypt arc as well. Like they could have done that so much quicker.
Yeah.
So I'd say, like, because of that, I'd say it's probably like a 6 or a 7 for me, you know, because it's pretty much, it's like, my enjoyment wise, it's pretty much on par part 1 and part 3. Like, I don't dislike either of them, but I didn't like them anywhere near as much as I did most of the others.
That's fair. Anything else you want to add? Favorite characters, favorite villains? Favorite villains? I don't know if you call
I
them.
love Dio as a villain. The rest of them, you know, like I can hardly remember any of them.
Yeah.
Many.
That's
one
the issue.
that sticks out to me for some reason, and I can't remember his name. It's the gambler guy.
Yeah.
When they were like betting their souls. That was probably one of my favorites. Probably, I'm saying, I'm just guessing with that because I remember him and I don't remember half the others.
Yeah.
Character-wise, Kakyoin took a bit to grow on me. I didn't like him at the start, but I don't think you were meant to like him from the get-go.
Yeah.
Polnareff, probably definitely one of my favorites though. Him and Abdal. Abdal's just a complete and utter dote.
Yeah.
He's such a good guy.
Yeah. Okay. Dylan, part 3.
Boy. Part 3. What can I say about part 3 besides I wish I hadn't read it? If I had to give it an honest rating on a scale of 1 to 10 compared to the other parts, 5 out of 10.
Okay.
Maybe 4.5.
Oh, okay.
Literally the only redeeming factors part 3 had were the main cast, aside from, and this is going to be a controversial one, aside from Iggy. I can't stand Iggy.
Okay. Susanna is watching it right now. We're in the Egypt arc. We've gotten past the tarot cards. She can't fucking stand Iggy because at random times his face will get superhuman and she fucking hates it. She fucking hates Iggy with a passion.
That's actually weird.
Yeah, she fucking hates it so much.
Yeah.
Continue.
I cannot stand Iggy as a character. Like his design, him as a character, I can't stand it. When Iggy died, I may have jumped for joy instead of feeling sad. Like I was sad because of Abdal, but when I realized Iggy was dead, it was just a fucking thank God. I don't have to see this character anymore.
Yeah.
Bird with
the bird. I will say
Chop.
that was actually interesting to me. It was nice to see Iggy on his own doing his own thing. I liked that episode or chapter.
I did like that. I actually really did like that.
For all that I hate Iggy for, I really enjoyed that.
Iggy be like farts. He was a dog who liked coffee gum, and farted. That's literally Iggy's character in a nutshell. It was hard to like. Hard to like. Continue.
Yeah, the everyone but Iggy from the main cast, and then Dio were honestly the only redeeming parts of part 3. Were there other parts that were mildly interesting? Yes, like Darby, Pet Shop, Steely Dan.
Steely Dan.
These were interesting parts. I found them very interesting. They took me out of the monotony of the rest of it.
I want to say Steely Dan's localized name is fucking epic. Easily S tier. Dan of Steel. I fucking love it. And that's one of the better localized names. Continue.
So yeah, for most of part 3, it was just a slog, and when I got to those, it was mildly interesting. I was actually kind of interested to read what was happening next, or watch what was happening next, because I didn't read these parts yet. But whenever we got to the Dio fight, I feel like even though the Dio fight itself also had its issues, the Dio fight was part 3 to a T.
Yeah.
Like when people think about part 3, they think about Dio versus Jotaro.
That's what Zach even messaged me. He's like, "Oh, I'm at the part. I'm at the part where he says he said the thing."
Yeah, once Dio shows up, part 3 just becomes monumentally better.
Yep.
Like, instead of being mentioned or being in photos or flashbacks, when you see Dio himself on the stairs fucking with Polnareff, just part 3 immediately becomes 10 times better.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a testament to how Araki can write characters, that he wrote such a great character in Dio that he can take this monotonous, terrible part and make it so interesting out of nowhere, just by being there.
Yeah. You're not wrong. Man's not wrong.
And if I had to say what my most memorable part from part 3 was, it has to be 2 of them, and they're both in the Dio fight. One would be when Jotaro was using Star Platinum to stop his own heart. I thought that was actually incredibly smart.
Yeah.
And then again, whenever the biggest ass pool of the century, whenever Star Platinum stopped time after Dio's time ran out.
Yeah.
And he's like, 11 seconds. Time will start soon. And then he's like, wait, why can't I move? And then fucking you got Jotaro standing behind him. You fucking thought, bitch.
Yeah, no. That whole scene, it almost reminded me of Joseph's wit when he had like the magnets or whatever, and like Dio's like, oh, he moved, and he's like, oh, it was just the magnets.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Joseph's style of comedy or style of fighting. I like the homage to it. I definitely felt a lot of Joseph energy in that.
Like, I feel he wanted to hint that Star Platinum could do the same thing as the world could from the beginning, but it feels like he went about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Because it feels like the hints are there, but they're so subtle that you could easily be like, there was no hints at all.
Yeah. Oh, real quick question for Zach before we get to mine and then Zach's synopsis or thoughts on part 3. Zach, Dio's head attached to Jonathan's body. If he were to have a kid or whatnot, would that spawn be a Joestar?
Technically, yes.
Okay,
right?
cool. That's all I was wondering. Anything else? Yeah, because he has his dick. He has Jonathan dick. Like, that is what it is, right? I just want to make sure. I just want to hear your thoughts on that. Anything else to add, Dylan?
No, that's really it. If I talked about my grievances with part 3, we'd be here all day.
Yeah,
So.
I know. I share that sentiment because going into mine, I definitely rate part 5 as it's okay. It's a 5 out of 10 to me. It's nothing really defining other than the fact that it introduced stands. I love stands. Zach didn't like stands at first. Stands at first.
No, I
Stands
never
is
said
the
that.
wonderful idea.
Go ahead.
I said that I like stands, but the name is
Oh,
the
yeah.
stupidest fucking
The
thing I've ever
name
seen.
stand is stupid as fuck. Yeah, that's right. That's
I
right.
can
My
agree.
bad.
I can agree with that. Like, I wish he would have came up with something better than stands, but stand as a concept is a wonderful.
It was great.
And
Honestly,
the
Go
fact
ahead.
that he stopped with the stupid naming scheme, and then in part 4 decided to make musical references again.
Yeah, wait till you get into the heart of part 4 because you're literally just gonna see music reference after music reference, and then you're gonna realize, then you're gonna think, how did the hell are these names translated to the anime? And that's where the great localized names come in because he can't fucking put.
Fucking what is it? It's part
J
4,
Giles,
I think.
there's J Giles band or whatever.
Boys to Man becomes Boys Man.
Yeah, boys, man. Anyway, part 3 was lackluster. It was villain of the week formula. I don't enjoy those types of animes that much, or manga. It's boring. It's like Alicia was saying. Alicia, could you name 5 of the stands that showed up in part 3 of the villains? Exactly, because they're not memorable. When you have an overabundance of villains, like they become less special. It's not.
I can name like a couple of them, like Thoth. Then you had fucking Death 13. Then you had
that's one of the redeeming parts. It's funny because all I was you didn't like Kakyoin at first.
Oh yeah,
Kakyoin,
Baby Stand.
baby stand, bro.
Forgot to mention that.
That whole gag was one of my favorite scenes. Like, bringing him into the fucking nightmare or whatever, the dream world. And then literally Kakyoin, like, fucking fuck this kid, bro. Fuck this kid. And everyone else being like, bro, it's just a kid. Chill out. that was like one of my favorite moments from part 3. And there are some good moments of part 3. I liked.
Pet Shop. I mentioned it earlier.
Pet Shop was a good one.
Whatever his fucking stand name was.
I liked. I liked the baby. Was that Death 13? That was the baby.
Yeah.
That was the baby
with the dreams.
Yeah.
Death 13. Yeah.
And I wanted to say I love Whole Horse. Whole Horse is one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best parts of part 3.
I can't believe we haven't mentioned the greatest characters of part 3 of all time. The Oingo Boingo brothers.
Oingo fucking Boingo. I want to hear Zach talk about that too. I'm really excited for that.
Hold on, I gotta get it. I gotta get it for Zach. I gotta get the Oingo Boingo ending.
Oh, Oingo Boingo. Yeah, in the anime, there's a special like ending. Like the Oingo Boingo episode is a bit different. Like they do like there's the ending theme, but it was Oingo Boingo. Really fucking top tier shit.
I hated those parts.
What?
When those little videos, I don't know. I hate it.
Just look at it. Look in general. Just look at the picture of the thumbnail.
I would have been fine with Oingo and Boingo.
That's great.
If Boingo wouldn't have came back. Like,
True. And
yeah.
But Whole Horse, I don't know if people know. Some people may. I believe Whole Horse was actually written to be a protagonist at one point of the story. But then Araki decided, I could be wrong on that, but I'm like 90% sure I'm right on this.
He looks like an Araki protagonist.
Yeah, Whole Horse was originally designed as a protagonist, but decided to make him a villain in it. And I love Whole Horse's character. Like, the fact that he didn't just die like all the other villains gave him more depth than every other villain in the part. But there were, like I said, there were good parts of part 3, but majority of it feels like it's like One Piece for me. The majority of it to me was unenjoyable, but there are some parts like in One Piece, Wano and Whole Cake Island that just shine brighter. And really, like Dylan was saying, it's once Dio gets introduced. Once Dio gets introduced into the story physically, the part just gets phenomenally better. I didn't really care for the clothes transition on Dio at the second half of their fight. Didn't really, when he like takes off the jacket, that's what he takes off the jacket and he has just like the black tank top. I didn't really care for that.
Oh yeah.
I didn't really care for it at all. I feel like he looked kind of stupid. But it's fucking Dio. He doesn't have to look cool to be cool. It's fucking Dio.
We could hate part 3 all day, but we can still appreciate all the wonderful memes they gave us.
Yeah. So, and then that's it. It's after one of these days I'm gonna send you the Jojo English video, which is one of my favorite videos on YouTube. Jojo English videos, and then Jojo. There's 2 series I watch called. One is called JoJo's Explained Really, Really Fast, and the other one.
I was literally right about to link that.
That is one of the best series on YouTube. And there's another one. It's like JoJo's in a nutshell, and it's done in like MS Paint, and it is so fucking funny. I gotta send you both. You gotta watch those sometime. Literally, like that's peak JoJo's. It's like watching Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series. It's better than the series itself.
There's also one meme from every episode of JoJo's.
That's another good video. You're one of us now, Zach. You have to watch these. As there it is.
Theoretically.
Yeah, theoretically, you're one of us now. So you have to enjoy the meme culture because you don't have the anime side of things, so you're gonna be missing out on a lot. Don't watch the anime though.
We'll watch it eventually. But.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the really fast ones like actually do a really good job of recapping the series as well. Like it's funny. But it actually it gets everything in there.
I mean, since you all sent your here, this is I'll add this to the general list. Make sure you watch. I'm gonna send this to YouTube as well. There you go, guys. If you have JoJo's content, please go watch those. It's fucking hilarious. I may even put it on the end of stream, and watch it together because it is so fucking funny. But end all be all and before we talk to Zach about part 3, or Zach tells us about part 3, it's mid-tier. Especially compared to every other JoJo part. outside of part 6, it is my least favorite part. It is my second least favorite part. The distance between, though, like, I don't like part 3, and part 6 may follow part 3 in my dislike, but there is a vast canyon between my dislike between the two. I don't like part 3 for, like, villain of the week reasons. Part 6 is another story, and we'll get to that when we read it. But yeah, Zach, part 3.
Part 3 definitely has its share of problems. I mean, part of it, is just like the sheer amount. I think like it wouldn't be too bad if they just introduced them, they beat them, and then moved on. But the fact that they just keep coming back is so annoying. Like Boingo was there like 2 or 3 times. Whole Horse was there a few times. I think there was a few others that like kept showing up. It's like that being said, I did like the Darby brothers.
Yeah.
I didn't go back. That's probably really the only like 2 enemy stands that I really enjoyed, other than obviously beating. I felt that part 3 could have been 2 volumes at least shorter.
Yeah.
That probably could have been like 3 volumes. That would have been a lot better.
Yeah.
I really like the main characters again. I didn't know you guys hated Jotaro. I really like him.
It's not that I hate him. It's just he's a dick, okay? He called his mother a bitch, okay? Fuck that kid.
I don't hate Jotaro, but I don't necessarily like. I'm not gonna.
He's not
joy when he's on screen either.
Yeah, he's not.
Like,
he's nowhere near best Jojo. He's nowhere near best Jojo.
Yeah, it's like here's Jotaro again, and it's like, oh, okay, cool.
You put Joseph on screen though. He's a Giga Chad. He is. He is a Giga Chad. Actually, you're not wrong at all. Continue.
So yeah, I really like all the main characters. I really like seeing Joseph again. I really liked Kakoyan.
Kakuin.
Sure. I did really like him. I didn't really care that much for
Polnareff?
Polnareff. Yeah, like I was just like, I mean, he was there.
Yeah.
I liked Avdol, but I do not wish he would have came back.
Yeah, it was.
I wish he would have just stayed dead.
Yeah. You messaged me about that.
That's the thing that makes part 1 and part 2 partially so good, is that like he's not like, once he's killed someone, like they're dead. He's not afraid to leave them dead for the most part, other than like Joseph. And like with part 3, all the time they're like, oh, this person's dead. Wait, no, they're not. I got you.
Yeah, I know. I feel that sentiment.
That being said, I really, really enjoyed the entire fight with Dio. I mean, who doesn't? It's sweet.
Yeah.
I liked the scene where Star Platinum stopped time. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And then I did also really like the scene where he stopped his heart. Like, that just shows, again, Jotaro was Pikachu.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're not wrong on what you've said. What was like going in like to the series with the leaving Haman behind in the stands? You like the stands though, right? Like, what did you think about it?
I really like the stands. I really like the design of all the stands. They're very good. That's another thing that I like about part 3, which I realized I haven't gave my rating for yet. I would say part 3 is probably a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, that's fair.
I enjoy the main characters. I enjoy the fight with Dio a lot. The art has continued to improve from part 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And the design of pretty much every stand is really good.
Yeah.
I just wish that he didn't name it something so stupid.
Wait, speaking of real quick, I know you're talking about the art improving. What do you think about part 4 art so far? Because part 4 is kind of the shift in art style. What do you?
It's weird because
Art change good.
Jotaro looks the same, and then like the stands look really good. Everything in the background looks good so far, but like it's weird because Josuke goes back and forth.
Josuke.
Sure.
Just sorry.
He goes back and forth between looking like a Jojo and a Yu character.
And that is one of the biggest things is I feel like Araki struggled because he was trying to not make like buff characters as he did in the previous. He's trying to, Josuke is a teenager. He's a little high school or whatever. So he tried not to keep with that buff formula.
But he's
every one of them were high schoolers.
Exactly, and he was trying to make it look like a high school. Like they have fucking Joe Bro. I don't know how far you are. How far are you into part 4?
I can't remember exactly how far I am.
You meet him. You meet him in the beginning though. I can't think of his name.
Which one?
Joe Bro.
Okay.
No, what did you say, Alicia?
Koichi.
Koichi! Yeah, Koichi! He's like, I kind of like that was, yeah, he's like tiny as fuck, but he's the same age as Jojo.
Yeah, the part that I just got to was that dude with the bow and arrow who they haven't revealed yet.
Ooh, bow and arrow! Bow and
Okay,
arrow. Bow and arrow. Bow and arrow is important. Remember that.
I would assume because that's how people
Remember the design on the arrow too.
Wait, what'd you say, Zach?
I said I would assume it's important since they revealed that's how people are getting their stand powers.
Oh, okay, cool. I didn't know if you got that far. Yeah. So they reference that a bit. They definitely. I think they do a flashback, right, to Enya the Hag or whatever.
Yeah. Or they. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I haven't gotten there yet, but
not super spoilery. They did, but they do explain how Dio was able to make people withstand. They kind of catch it up.
The way the arrow looks is also important.
Yes, but you'll learn later on. But how are you liking part? Because we talked about part 3 pretty much. It is what it is. What are your thoughts on part 4 as it stands right now in the very beginning?
I mean, I'm glad that Jotaro's there.
Yeah.
I like him. I like pretty much. I like every single Joestar.
Yeah, that's
as basic as that is. I like them all.
Yeah. And so you've seen Crazy Diamond or whatever, fucking Josuke's. I like the concept. Araki's ability to take really, because it's basically like superpowers. That's exactly what we have. Everyone has their own superpower, but the like really obscure and weird shit behind like Josuke's power and different people's stands is what I like about part 4. Is that it definitely carries it a bit.
Yeah, I'm not deep enough into part 4 to have like a strong opinion about anything yet, but I mean, I do think that the art really has improved every single part.
Yeah.
But we'll see about part 4 again.
Yeah. It's definitely like I know, Alicia, it's your second favorite part, right?
Yeah.
And what about where do you rate? Where do you rate it, Dylan, for part 4?
Part 4.
Like
probably third.
Okay. What's your favorite part?
Like mine? Like
Yeah.
favorite. Okay. Rating wise, I'd have to put part 7 as the best part, but my personal favorite to go back and re-experience over and over is probably part 5.
Okay. That's actually really interesting. That's not a normal thing. That's actually okay. The part 7 thing I'm gonna say now, Zach. I know you're getting into JoJo's.
Steel Ball Run, right? I mean,
Steel Ball Run. Everyone, Jimmy especially, will suck Steel Ball Run's dick. Okay, Jimmy, Ons, will, but you gotta understand going into it. I'm just, it's not really spoiler.
There's the reason it's number 2 on my anime list.
I'd say yeah.
It's not
number 2.
It's not JoJo. When you go into it, just remember Steel Ball, and the reason that I dropped it because I didn't really think about it. Steel Ball Run was originally gonna be separate from JoJo's. Keep that in mind going into it. Yes, it has some of, I think, especially in color, has some of the best art done is in part 7.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very, very different. and just be ready for that, and don't let it discourage you that it's different.
Okay.
Because
So,
I
will
dropped
say-
it.
I will say Dylan brought up that it is number 2 on my anime list.
Yeah.
And if we're going to be using that, I do have to bring up
No.
number 3.
What's number
What's
3?
number 3?
What's number 3?
So
One Piece.
Zach
Yeah,
confirms. Zach confirms Part 7 better than One Piece.
Oh.
It might be. I don't know yet.
Yeah, no. It's if again, I think SBR is great if it wasn't JoJo's, and I kind of, in my opinion, I feel like Araki was held back by his own community. I feel like if Steel Ball Run wasn't a JoJo's title, because honestly, I don't know, have you read Part 8 yet, Dylan?
No, not yet.
Okay,
I'm not-
and Alicia
Not
hasn't either.
completely caught up on it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no,
Part 8 feels more like JoJo's than Part 7 does. So I feel like if Part 7 was like an offshoot and its own thing and it wasn't even called JoJo's, just Steel Ball Run, I would appreciate it more. But the fact that he had to bring like the concept back for JoJo's and use those things, it definitely lowered the value on it. And I think a lot of my hate for Part 7 stems from Part 6. And you'll get it. You'll get it when you get there. Cause fuck Part 6, man.
Yeah, I didn't have that problem because once I read Part 6, I had to stop before I started Part 7.
I tried reading it right back to back. I think I actually quit reading. Part 6 was like when L died in Death Note. I stopped reading Death Note for a couple of weeks because I was like, how fucking dare they kill L? I was distraught. That's what Part 6 ending did to me, but in a bad way. So, but Araki said JoJo sells. Exactly. That's exactly why Part 7 is JoJo's. But honestly, like, so you've read, theoretically, 3 parts of JoJo, on to Part 4. As Zach Hoy, known JoJo hater, how do you feel about reading it so far, theoretically?
It's not bad. I mean, it's definitely, the art can be off-putting, and the fan base definitely is a big part of why it would turn anybody away, including myself.
But it's better than you assumed it to be, though, right?
Yeah, but I mean, my biggest problem was always the art because I didn't know anything about the story,
Yeah.
and like, it does improve, but like, I think I was basing a lot of it off of what I'd seen from some of the anime screenshots, and like, man, they're just they're rough.
And I got that. And honestly, that I was the same way. I did not start JoJo's and Attack on Titan, 2 mangas that I actually like hold in high regard now because of the art style in the beginning. I don't have any of you actually. I know you read it, right, Alicia? The first like 5 chapters of Attack on Titan. That art was horrendous, right? It's not just me.
It didn't actually put me off it.
What?
Even though I knew going in, it didn't actually put me off it at all.
It put me off
Which
so
I
bad.
was expecting it to, but it didn't. But yeah, no, it was like, and especially as we were saying, like in the Attack on Titan episode, like you can really see between like the beginning and the end, you can see how much he improved.
Oh
I
yeah.
can't-
No. Go ahead,
I can't
No,
say
it actually didn't put me off it somehow.
Dylan. What's up?
I can't say anything about bad art. I read the One Punch Man webcomic.
It's okay if you've read Mob Psycho. You're used to bad art, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mob Psycho 100 lovers. The art is just...
One is not a wonderful artist, but he's
Yeah,
a
again,
phenomenal story writer.
Story writers. And that's unfortunate
That's
sometimes,
why
right?
we're so blessed that Murata picked up the manga.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And it goes to show that sometimes the art isn't everything, even though it puts you off. The art really isn't everything sometimes. And if it wasn't for people sticking through with it, Araki couldn't have gotten better. He couldn't have. But yeah. So yeah, that's parts 1. Go ahead.
Quick question before we wrap up completely part 3. Question to pose. What's everyone's favorite stand design from part 3? Favorite
Ooh.
looking stand?
Zach, you start.
It might be. I mean, you're gonna have to come back to me, I think. So I'm gonna have to go look at them.
Okay, Alicia.
Oh jeez, I don't know. I've
want
never put too much.
Go ahead.
I've never put so much thought into it.
That's why I love this question. It makes you stop and think.
I think from part 3, because it's been a while since I read part 3, because I have stands from parts 4 through 8 in my mind right now. I've read more recently. But part 3, honestly, Star Platinum is just good. Star Platinum is such a good looking stand.
Yeah.
But outside of Star Platinum,
like Magician's Red as well, though.
Outside of that, like if I had to choose from the villains, I'd probably go with Death 13. I liked the stand design with the little cloud with the scythe. It's
I have
great.
to agree. Death 13 is my favorite out of part 3. Just that jester mask with the shit-eating grin.
Yeah.
He's got the gold outfit he's got the purple cloak, the hood. He's got the scythe.
I'm gonna do what Zach's doing real quick. Part 3 stands. Images. Oh, actually, there's a whole. Oh wait, is that right there? Whole collection right here.
And then he's got like the Pope hat.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. I love Death 13's design.
Also, we didn't talk about it. One of the best parts of part 3 is a part 2 reference when they do the Joseph episode, when he has the fucking thing on his hand and he does his next you're gonna say gag. One of the best parts. Bringing that back to life was just like he does it twice in it, but it was just like the one real time he did in the middle of the anime. It was good. Also, let us not forget the based and wonderful Joseph Joestar giving us the wonderful meme, I'll never forgive the Japanese.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for that, Mr. Joestar. I love that scene so fucking much.
Oh, go
ahead.
I remember when I was looking at this. I remembered another reason why another problem I had with part 3 is that they built up the Vanilla Ice guy like so much, and then he just didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
That being said, I think I would have to pick a top 3 because I can't just say Star Platinum, who is sweet.
Definitely pick a top 3 if it's easier for you that way.
I would have to say Star Platinum, Green Hierophant, and then those 2 for sure, and then maybe Anubis, because Anubis is sweet.
Yeah, I did like Anubis. Let's not. We're missing out on
Anubis.
But you're missing out on the best stand of all, Gun. Whole Horse's stand was Gun, and Thomas beat me too in the chat. But yeah, no, that was just the best, man. Just Gun.
Actually, yeah. So I would have to say Star Platinum, Hierophant Green, and then I really enjoyed trying to find them on the list. Not Anubis, because
the magnetism one was brilliant as well.
Oh, Bassett, yeah, Bassett. But it wasn't even a stand though, because it was just like outlet. That was all it was. They touch an outlet.
I know, but it was still just for
the idea behind it. Yes, one of the dumbest ones. Sun. Just sun.
Yeah. Just sun.
Yeah. So I did really like Horus. So Horus, Hierophant Green, and Star Platinum.
Which one was Horus? Oh, Pet Shop. That was Pet Shop. Horus was Pet Shop. What about Justice? Any of the hags? I like the design of Justice. The fucking skull with the crown on it. I like the design of it. And Hanged Man. Jay Giles, Hanged Man. I like the design on that one. That was definitely one of the the mummy with the wraps on him and shit.
Yeah. If I had to pick 3, it'd probably be number 1 for sure would be Death 13.
Yeah.
Then probably second would be Silver Chariot. And then I'd have to put Justice as 3rd.
Yeah. One of the ones I really didn't like was 1 Strength, the orangutan, where his stand was boat. Didn't care for that. Well, how did you feel about that, by the way? orangutan. Zach?
Nah.
Meh, exactly. That was everyone. And the other one I didn't really care for was like the first one they kind of introduced, which was the Tower of Grey, the bug, the old man on the plane. That was like, okay, cool. That happened, I guess. It was a meh. I think that most of them are just meh, but good designs, but
You
meh.
had to do it so they couldn't just fly to Egypt and make the story 6 volumes shorter, which would have been better.
Yeah. Also, let's never forget Wheel of Fortune, the car. Like Araki really was really reaching with a car, gun, sun, outlet. Araki definitely. It's kind of like shitty Pokemon designs, but you know. Goddamn.
One of my biggest problems with Araki is the fact that he named the fly Tower of Grey.
Yeah.
And then in part 4 proceeds to name another stand Superfly.
Yeah. I don't Araki. But yeah, that's I think that's everything. Parts 1 through 3 are starting part 4, theoretically. Yeah. Is there anything anyone wants to add about parts 1 through 3 or the beginning of part 4? Anything that stands out? Anything about JoJo's in general?
No, probably just over the chat. Right?
Covered pretty much everything.
Yeah.
I think the way part 4 starts with not everyone having a stand, I actually really enjoyed that.
Comparatively to part 3, definitely. It was definitely better. And I think that's why part 4 is a better change of pace, because it turns into a, almost like a slice of life
like
story.
A self-discovery type thing.
Yeah. It's part 4 is more wholesome compared to part 3, after reading part 3 directly after. So I really hope you enjoy. I really hope, I'm looking forward to you theoretically reading the rest of JoJo's and catching up. I read through One Piece. Dylan, did you read One Piece, or are you not a One Piece? Good job, good boy.
I don't.
Good man.
I don't have that kind of time. Sorry.
It's understandable. I guess at the ending. What's up, Zach?
So you guys are missing out.
As someone, I want to at the end of this, I do want to talk about what we usually end with talk about what we're reading, and I actually will say, I am very happy that I caught up with One Piece. I feel like it took 900 chapters, but I'm finally enjoying One Piece consistently enough. Wano good. Wano very good. Wano's very good.
I love Wano.
So next week we're gonna be an Ons if you're still here. Next week we're gonna be discussing Poon Poon. Oyasumi Poon Poon, which is one of my top 3 manga of all time, and I'm looking really forward to it. Alicia will be reading it for the first time. Zach has read it already recently, and I'm not sure who our fourth. I don't know if Dylan's gonna be here. Maybe Dylan will be here next week. But Dylan needs to do a reread on it. I probably should do a reread as well. I actually technically have a whole thing written out about Poon Poon that I was going to do as an episode by itself. But I'm really excited to talk about it with you guys. I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We don't have a second topic yet, but Shik has sent me a list of short shitty animes.
You should watch Gurren Lagann one of these days, and then
how long is that series?
25 episodes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'll have to watch. I mean, no, not that long. But Shik has
greatest anime of all time.
Shik has given me a good list of shitty animes, and I have a good like 20 here. Shik, what are the shorter ones? If you could send me which one are the shorter ones, maybe we could get something in by next Sunday as the second topic. Unsure yet, though, but definitely talking about Poon Poon next week. Looking forward to that. The week after that, so 2 weeks from now, we're going to be talking about Sword Art Online, at least part 1 Aincrad, since it's only 12 episodes. If we can make it further to the whole first season... not all are shitty ones. I know, Shik. I know. of the whole first season. It'd be interesting. I know Zach is definitely like with JoJo. Zach is an SAO hater. I think it's overhated. I definitely don't like love it, but I definitely feel like it's an overhated anime. And I don't know what Alicia's and Dylan's perceptions on SAO are.
I think of it like a part 3, but an entire anime. It's
Oh,
it's
we lost Zach.
yep.
1 sec. I got him in. I feel like, in my honest opinion, SAO is an overhated. I don't think it's the worst. I think it's a great intro beginner anime for people who are just starting to get it. It's short. It feels good. Not there's some high stakes, but it's not really.
And it introduces some tropes you'll see in other anime.
Exactly, especially the overpowered main character. The overpowered main character is like one of my favorite, one of the most used tropes. I use in like any fucking shonen, and it's peak in Sword Art. So I definitely feel like it would be 2 weeks from now when we talk about it. There's gonna be a lot of good things said. Alicia, what you didn't say? What is your perception on SAO? I don't think you've watched it before.
I have no idea anything about it, so I'm going in completely blank.
Okay, cool. Okay. No one taint her because Zach is a hater. And
if I had to think about it, I would put it like I said. I'd compare it to part 3, but that's being a little, rough with it.
Yeah.
Like Sword Art Online, I actually, unlike part 3, I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go back and watch it again.
Exactly.
But I enjoyed it the first time through.
It's Susanna, for instance. Susanna, who like is now reading manga, like she's catching with My Hero. She got into JoJo's. It all started with Sword Art. Sword Art was like the first big anime that like got her into being a weeb. She actually started enjoying shit because of Sword Art, and so in that regards, I feel like it's a good starter. But I'm curious to see your opinions on this. I really am. It's good. I feel like it's going to be a good episode, especially with Zach. It's always good with Zach.
I don't know how you can sit here and say that Sword Art Online is good and that One Piece is bad.
It's mostly a meme that I say One Piece is bad, and it's the fact that One Piece is 1,011 chapters continuing, and Sword Art is 12 episodes per arc. It's condensed.
When I say One Piece bad, I'm talking about the anime.
Yeah.
Like One Piece anime is universally agreed.
The anime is atrocious.
Yeah.
The pacing is so bad.
Well, the One Piece manga, even I could admit it's where it is for a reason.
Right now, good.
But
One Piece currently
good.
good.
To sit there and enjoy it.
Exactly. And that's one of the biggest issues. I don't like committing. Like Naruto was the last big thing I really committed to, and that's just because of nostalgia. Like, the only reason I read through Naruto is because it was, like, one of my firsts. But I really don't like reading 700 plus... Okay, listen. JoJo's, you could read individual parts. I treat each one as a separate series, because you could reach each individual part. It's a separate...
Each part is technically considered as a different manga.
Yeah. So, you could definitely say... It's also JoJo's.
It's kind of like Dragon Ball and then Dragon Ball Super. They're
no,
mangas,
yeah, exactly. But I do hate is that Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z are considered the same manga, and I hate that because I love Dragon Ball, but really don't like Z.
They are because they were all written as Dragon Ball. He wrote them all as one manga.
Dylan is like 144p right now. I see all the pixels. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Naruto my first. But yes.
Why? My camera set at 4K, dog. I don't know why.
So really looking forward. It's Discord. Really looking forward to next week's discussions. I'm just gonna go ahead and end it with thank you guys for coming by. Thank you guys for watching. If you are watching post being live, which I would like to say announce that Zach pointed out, episode 2 of Otaku Hell has over 100 views, and I appreciate everyone who's liked the videos. By the way, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that little bell thingy, and even comment on the video. I appreciate all of it. Like, we had a comment by someone, I don't know who it was, but they recommended me fucking wholesome anime, and I'm like, yo, bro, thanks. Slice of Life is like right up my alley. I'll watch this shit. So thank you guys for being here, and like, I'm gonna say it. I'm much at the point I'm at as someone who streams video games for a living. I much more look forward to this day of the week where I get to sit here and talk with my fucking friends about anime and manga than playing fucking video games. Like, I enjoy this so much fucking more. So thank you guys for giving us the ability to do that. Thank you guys so much. Is there any final thoughts? Anyone? Zach, Dylan, Alicia want to say before we get out?
Um,
Go ahead, Zach.
No, just I'm excited to talk about Pun Pun next week.
Yeah. And Dylan?
Nothing really about what we talked about. More along the lines of I'm currently doing the Stormbringer achievement on Metal Gear Rising, and if you value your sanity, fucking try
Metal
it.
Gear Rising Revengeance is one of the best games ever made.
I'm currently
sorry.
doing the Stormbringer achievement. It has a 1% achievement rate on Steam. If you ever want to fucking do it, I suggest you don't.
Jesus fucking Christ. Okay.
Sly Cooper 2 would like to talk to you, Taylor.
What'd you say?
Sly Cooper 2 would like to have a chat with you.
Okay, have you ever played Metal Gear Rising Revengeance?
Don't need to.
Listen, if you just play the first through the first boss battle, which is in the first mission, goddamn, it's within the first 5 minutes of the fucking game, one of the best games ever made. Sly Cooper 2, good. I wasn't raised on it though. I know we're tangenting a little bit. Wasn't raised on PS though. I played it at friends' houses. Even though I wasn't raised with it, can say Sly Cooper 2 is one of the best games I've ever fucking played ever. It's really, it's test. I would go back and play Sly Cooper today, it being as old as it is.
I've replayed it probably 10 times.
It's good.
Like all the way through.
Exactly. Now we're going to go on the Otaku Hell video game edition. No, you guys take care. Thank you so much for coming by, and we will see you next week when we talk about Poon Poon and a second topic. See you guys then. Bye. And